Basudev Banerjee, and my topic is care in the face of crisis. Clicking pictures of your child when he's young, 1.5-year-old dreamy eyed toddler, becomes such an engaging activity. We want to capture each and every important moment of his life. It was my son's first birthday, and we were celebrating at a hotel with a small gathering of friends and relatives. Like any birthday celebration, there was a big Mickey Mouse cake, lots of nicely wrapped gifts for my child, good food, good engaging conversations, lots of fun, and everyone wishing the best to my young child. Like any event, it was covered with lots of clicking phones and cameras. After the party, the fun was over. Life's routine and mundane grind started. The routine of work and other activities like shopping for groceries and paying bills, etc. 6 months went by, and we were just about forgotten about the birthday or about the many pictures clicked during that day, except for the memory of how much fun we all had that day. However, one day, one of our relatives called us and suggested us to look at some of the pictures which she had clicked on my son's birthday. She sent us the images, and they had a white reflection in the pupil of one of my son's eyes. She suggested we should visit an ophthalmologist to rule out any eye problems. Initially, we ignored it. We thought it was some kind of camera or light reflection. And when this appeared in the other images, we decided to follow her advice and visit the doctor. And yes, the doctor checked it, and it was confirmed that this was something serious. Probably an eye cancer called retinoblastoma. The doctor immediately referred us to a specialist who dealt with such cases. Then there were diagnostic tests to confirm this. Ultrasound was not that tough. But a CT scan, well, a CT scan is something really difficult, as it's virtually impossible to keep a 1.5-year-old child still in one position for 10 minutes for the duration of the scan to be completed. My son was sedated twice, but he still wasn't sleepy for the scan to be completed. So we had to take him on a car ride, and then in the CT scan room, me and my wife wore protective suits to oversee the CT scan being conducted. And finally, under pupil dilation, it was confirmed that this was indeed retinoblastoma. A picture, they say, is worth 1,000 words. In our case, it was just one, retinoblastoma, a type of eye cancer for my 1.5-year-old young child, which devastated our world. I remember my wife couldn't stop her tears in her eyes, as though asking me, why us? Why our child? And I had to control my own emotions and console her to be strong for the sake of my child. That's when 6 years ago, a serious health crisis had occurred in my family, and we had to respond to the needs of our child. We were struck between a sword and a cliff. The ophthalmologist gave us two options: either to remove one of the eye of my child, or to undertake treatment which involved 6 sessions of chemotherapy and numerous laser therapy sessions with no guarantee of success. If the tumor spreads to the brain via the optic nerve, it could lead to death. Hence, if the tumor does not respond, the doctor would have no choice but to remove his eye in a bid to stop the tumor from spreading and to save his life. My wife and I thought about which option was best for our child to take. If we took the option to remove his eye, my son may later ask us the question, did we do everything to save his vision? What would be our answer to him then? We thought. So we took the stronger option. We chose to fight against this cancer to save his vision and his life. Thus began our fight with this eye cancer. The first few days were the hardest. We tried to gather as much information and grasp as much possible about retinoblastoma, searching online, on social media for information. We found a lot of clinical and disease-related information, but nothing that would really prepare us as parents for what was in store. Still, we had to figure out a plan to fight, to counter strategy against this crisis. We sought a second doctor's opinion before embarking on a plan of action, and when he confirmed the same after reviewing the diagnostic reports, the action plan was put in force. We endured many unpleasant and heart-wrenching things during our fight for the son. Some of them included watching a stranger, a medical professional, poking a needle into the vein of my 1.5-year-old child to deliver toxic chemotherapy drugs, handing over our son to the doctor for laser therapy sessions or examination under anesthesia, and agonizingly waiting with bated breath for our son to wake up from anesthesia, hoping that nothing goes wrong due to any side effects of anesthesia. But we knew it was important not to have fear showing on our faces, which would result in our child panicking and increase his trauma. Once diagnosed, the treatment started. Our top priority became minimizing this trauma, so we did whatever necessary to keep our child happy and the family atmosphere light. After every chemotherapy, laser therapy, or examination under anesthesia or trip to the doctor, we used to treat him with a toy, or a fun outing, or a lunch or a dinner at his favorite restaurant of his choice. Something that he would love, anything to keep him happy. The goal was that the day at the hospital should end with a lot of fun, even doing things that were a strict no-no from a dietary perspective, meaning letting him fill up on his favorite sweets, potato chips, chocolates, popcorn, soft drinks, Pepsi, ice cream, or even fried chicken from KFC. And yes, after 6 sessions of chemotherapy, numerous laser therapy sessions, my son is cancer-free at the moment. When we think about what got us through that crisis or that tough period, it was just following up on action steps and not reacting to the emotions that go with it. Not thinking what would go wrong, but somehow remain unattached to the situation. Not overanalyzing, not worrying about things, but focusing on the execution of whatever actions were at hand, which was about going to the ophthalmologist appointments, following treatment options, or taking him to the pediatrician if my son was ill due to side effects of chemotherapy. We had to treat life as normally as possible, like nothing was wrong. Acting as if everything was life as usual demanded a lot of strength. We had to maintain a fine balance of being calm in the face of storm of emotions and circumstances. Like looking into my son's eyes when he was getting an injection for boosting his immunity after chemotherapy and reassuring him that this pain will go away and everything will be fine. Or when our son lost all his hair due to side effects of chemotherapy. We also had to take hard decisions and prompt ones to fight against this battle for this cancer. When we chose to fight and not simply remove his eye to get rid of the tumor, however, in this fight, my son had to bear the brunt of the wounds, the pain, the blood loss, the injections of toxic drugs, the fear and the anxiety that went with it. We had to surround our family with love, sharing it, showing it, and following up with actions that displayed our love, even to the height of pampering and spoiling our child, while catering to his every mundane desire. Family support was very important for me and my wife, and we were supported throughout by my family, my in-laws, my sister-in-law, and my close relatives during this time. Praying is something that helped too. Having faith in God does make a difference. When something like this happens, somehow God gives us the power and the strength to cope with it. In our situation, we realized we were helpless. So we had no choice but to have faith in God that He will do good. So we prayed. And yes, miracles do happen when we trust in God. I also wanted to do something about what we had gone through. So I built a website to spread awareness about retinoblastoma, to understand it from a parent's point of view, called kidseyetumor.com. It has a Facebook, Twitter, and a LinkedIn account by the same name. I wanted others who may have a child or who have the symptoms of such a cancer called retinoblastoma could benefit from my experience instead of just finding disease related information online. Finally, I urge everyone, if you have a child or you know a child who is 2 months or older, then please get his or her eyes checked by a doctor so that any kind of eye problems can be identified early, even serious ones like eye cancer. And when I say we talk about care, I believe in the words of Jennifer Brown. Just like there is always time for pain, there is always time for healing. Thank you.